Good morning, everyone, once again. This gloomy Sunday morning, not many people are here at MABA, only our technical support, Corey, which we're very thankful. Today, I would like to talk about views. One thing that we're attached the most. At first, let me read a fragment from ngke Sutta. A thicket of views, a wilderness of views, a contortion of views, a writhing of views, a fetters of views. It is accompanied by suffering, distress, despair, and fever. And it does not lead to disenchantment, dispassion, cessation. It doesn't lead to calm, direct knowledge, full awakening, unbinding. And yet we are so attached to our views. Your view is blocking your view. That's what my martial art teacher would always tell us. The world is on the verge of collapsing. A shaky peace that was established after World War II is not there anymore. Do we think we're safe? No, more and more events are happening around the globe right now that it becomes evident no one can stay unaffected. The global pandemic might seem like a little joke in comparison to the crisis that yet might to come. But what about us? Are we ready mentally? What are we doing? What are we busy with? Recently, quite a few interesting situations, a few conflicts erupted in and around MABA, which brought me a lot of contemplations. The death is watching nearby. The suffering is here and now, and yet what we are busy with. We people love to play games. Who is right? Who is wrong? Who started first? He started first. I'm just responding. I can't stay silent and allow someone to treat me like that. This is so unfair. I need to make other party to realize how wrong they are, how hurt I was. We're getting lost in those kind of worldly affairs. What does it mean, worldly? It is connected to samsara, the cycle of suffering. It is endless. There is no way to win this argument, this war. The path of trainee, if we want to call ourselves disciples of a Buddha, a Buddhist, is to ask ourselves, were there greed, hatred, and ignorance in me during the conflict? Not in the other party, in me. I am, ngke, not a fully enlightened person. So that means that the answer for me is always yes. Then I have to fall onto my knees in front of the Buddha and repent until I can't see because of the tears of shame. And do not stop bowing until the tears are all dried up. I can remember 4 situations that were very disturbing recently, and only in one, a person had enough insight to see that this is what has to be done, without much of the guidance. And that person tried to explain to master how bad they are, how wrong they are, how many mistakes they did, while master just said, good, very good, skilled, you're skilled in shame. It means you're not going to do the same mistake again. Very good. Only by knowing that I am wrong, I can do better. Only by knowing the depth, the magnitude of my own defilements, I have a chance to become undefiled. If I've done nothing wrong, there is no chance to awakening. If, suppose we've done nothing wrong, that there is no need to even try to meditate, our pure consciousness immediately would have light up. The body would have filled with pleasant sensation. Mind full of joy, great a sense of heavenly pleasure would change into absolute peace and calmness, and the knowledge of abandoning of defilements and breaking through all the bonds would come. But it is not happening. Why? because we're blind to our own mistakes, only busy looking outside, finding things to love and hate. Long time ago, a few lives maybe ago, someone told me they can't meditate because of my actions. And my first reaction was to say, well, obviously you can't meditate because you can't meditate. Easy as that. But I didn't say anything. The ignorance in me is not significantly less to tell other people off. So I just stayed silent and observed myself, my reactions. What happened in me when someone is disrespectful? What feelings arise? How my body feels? How breathing changes? What kind of unwholesome actions by body, speech, and mind I did or avoided to do? And the knowledge that you are capable not to act unwholesomely is the great source of pleasant feelings. When you are your own friend, when you choose the better way. It is so important to remember that the world around us is not there to accommodate our needs. The people around us is not there to satisfy our ideals of humanity. No, the world instead is full of suffering. It will break all our needs, all our ideals. What are we going to do? Hide? In the safety of cozy house, in the safety of our quiet rooms? No, the people around us are full of darkness. They will hurt us. They did before, they do it now, and they will do later on. What are we going to do? Blame them, fight with them. There is nowhere to hide. There is no way you can change people by fighting with them. Only one result that may come out of fighting is you getting sucked into the mud more and more, depriving ourselves out of chance of reaching the peace. Peace, calmness, happiness is not acquired because of no one is upsetting us. It is acquired despite people being upsetting all the time. I just mentioned that only one person felt shame, but what about usual reactions? Pointing outside. You are wrong, he is wrong, she is wrong, they are wrong. I did nothing wrong and I'm upset and hurt. Take a moment to look at these two options if you're looking. Usual reaction. People are feeling that other things, externals, are responsible for the way we feel. I can't be peaceful and calm right now because of someone did something. They hurt my feelings. And they did it on purpose, maybe. It's not fair. I need to let them know how bad that is. They must say sorry and stop what they're doing, and then I can be happy again. This is, of course, a fast road to failure. A better way, but not fully with full truth yet, is to understand that I choose how to react. Their actions are not under my control, but I can always do something to feel better. I can't expect other people to always be kind and gentle to me. When we are busy with fault finding, trying to blame others, that would lead us into the darkness, into the thicket of views, where we know it all, how it's supposed to be, what everyone else should do, what is right, what is wrong. There is nothing inherently wrong with those ideals itself, but they're just ideals, imagination, a fantasy that never comes true. Do we honestly can imagine the world that is always according our perceptions of good world? All the politicians are always good. Climate change stopped, reversed. Is it possible? Everyone you ever met is kind and respectful to you. Your spouse and your kids, your boss and colleagues, friends, and even fellow drivers on the road. Is it possible? Have you ever met a person who lived his whole life without being hurt? Why are we so surprised then when that happens? Why are we upset and hurt? Again, ain't nothing wrong with having those ideals, but they're just ideals, not the reality. It's not going to happen. So why keeping the keys of our mood in other people's hands? Those two ways to think that it's because of them or it's because of me is a worldly way. But what is the Buddha's escape from suffering? What is the solution? Just allow everyone to treat you badly? To let people be disrespectful and stay silent? Stop being politically and socially active? No, this is a misunderstanding. But first, we have to be very clear that if there is a desire to have something otherwise, the consequence is always suffering. What does it mean? It means if right now I have a black tea, but I wanted a green tea, I will suffer. I didn't get what I wanted. Is it possible for me to always get what I want? No. So it's very simple. When we have a desire, the suffering eventually will follow. Even if at the moment the desire is satisfied, but because of changing nature, it will lead to suffering again. It is very direct link from desire to suffering. If there is suffering, that means that there is the desire that goes against the reality. In reality, in present moment, there's only black tea. But yet my imagination, my desire, bring an image of green tea into the picture, into the reality. So the present moment is denied. And our mind is divided into two. Instead of being calm and united in here and now, it has two options. Reality that is upsetting and fantasy that is desirable. Grabbing the desirable fantasy, we suffer. It is part of the noble truth. The realization of noble truth led to Buddha's awakening. And this is the truth that we are very reluctant to accept. It seems like we understand it, but our actions show we have not realized it at all. With no desire, with acceptance of reality, with heart that is opened even to someone who is being hurtful to you, you're able to be calm and be peaceful. And only when you're calm and peaceful, it is time to act. When you're calm and peaceful, your actions have a chance to come from a place of wisdom, not from a place of ignorance. Because anger and hate are always accompanied by ignorance. No other options. If we're angry, the ignorance is there. When we're calm and peaceful and accepting the reality, we can become a part of social and political activism, to become a reason for the change to happen. But if we're trying to change someone's wrongdoing by feeling angry, we are becoming the part of the problem. We're joining them, the ones we wanted to oppose, the ones that we are being critical of. We're just the same. A few months ago, Master casually mentioned that he might send me to stay in Chicago. I checked myself, what do I feel about that? Who would want to tell me to exchange the peaceful and beautiful natural habitat of MABA to concrete jungle of busy city? But did I become a nun to pick and choose, to pursue what my senses and viewpoints tell me is pleasant? Shame on me if I did. And have you heard about the crime rates in Chicago? I don't own a car and I like to walk instead of using public transportation. So I set myself on a mission to mentally be prepared. Prepared for what? To be robbed, assaulted, held at a gunpoint, a knife, raped, abducted, murdered. Does that mean that I agree with that? Does that mean that I would not try to avoid it? No, I'm quite sensitive, and if I feel sketchy people, I will try to cross the road. But sometimes things can't be avoided. What if it's already happening? I will not allow myself to get lost in anger, hatred, and delusion. I would not let them win. I would not drown in the ocean of suffering. Enough. For countless lives, they say, we aimlessly wander from suffering to suffering. Enough. Head above the water of the ocean of suffering. Enough. Rise up and above the surface, cross to the other shore. A long time ago, a thought came to my mind that whatever words I'm listening to is the source of suffering. If the words are pleasant, I might get used to feeling nice and expect that people would always speak pleasant things to me and get very upset if one day changed. So I decided to tune myself so whatever it is said to me, I see it as a cause of suffering. And I don't really know why that thought came to me that day, but not long after, I don't remember exactly, same day or next day, someone very respectable and in a position of power decided to call me a pig in front of the Sangha community. And even though the first reaction after the shock was to hold my fist tightly so that lacrimal gland would not release its fluids, but eventually I did not do anything. I didn't say anything. Whatever said to me just shakes my eardrums. And it is a cause of suffering. Suffering is not my choice. It comes, stays, and goes away without being asked. If I don't get involved, I may witness the suffering without becoming a sufferer. I just observed myself and kept doing what was expected of me that day. In the next hour, I was on the roof. My hands and clothes are black because of some kind of roof asphalt cement, I think it's called, very toxic material. But all of a sudden, I felt so much joy and happiness. I put the tools away. I sat on the roof. I felt the sun on my skin and the waves of pleasure, gratitude, peace were filling me. And I knew at that moment that whatever is said to me, nothing can control the way I feel. I may lose the balance for a few moments, but I will come back. The toxicity of material didn't stick to my skin, and the toxicity of words didn't stick to my mind. This past Monday, I had to prepare breakfast for the first time. Usually we have a set number of chores, and cooking porridge was never my chore. But since Kung Shifu is in Malaysia now, it was my turn to cook. So I thought I did everything well. But then during the meditation in the morning, the porridge started to make sound, a lot of sounds. And they would come in waves. It's not like a constant level of noise that you can just turn off in your head. It would be silent for a second, and then the eruption of air and water bubbles. So a lot of thoughts come to my mind. What did I wrong? What did I do wrong? Should I go and check? Everyone must be annoyed with me and by the sound, blah, 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 a lot of thoughts. So instead of desiring a peaceful, regular morning meditation where overflowing porridge is the obstacle, I decided to do an overflowing porridge meditation. The object of my meditation became those sounds that porridge made. How they fade away, turn into silence, and come back with new energy, and repeating the cycle. So instead of getting hostile with the person who said that they can't sleep, can't exercise, can't meditate, and all of that because of me, I offer them a skill of meditation. It's like this. I know the value of this skill because I myself used to be a very easy, irritable person. I even had a few stories when I would travel, and being in the hotel trying to sleep. But hotels are usually like in touristic places, right? So there's a lot of partying going on. And I would be so unhappy, like they don't let me sleep. So I would angrily get out and go argue with people. It's dangerous in different countries. So stupid. But the truth is, we don't need special conditions to meditate. All we need is now and this. Whatever it is, if it's overflowing porridge, just say overflowing porridge is like this. And observe like what? Observe it in your body. How do you feel? If other sounds or anything bothers you, just say, being bothered by sounds is like this. If you experience pain, fear, suffering, just say, it's like this. And observe. It is a meditation already. There is no outside obstacles for meditation. Anything can become a meditation. We don't need a special conditions to be free. We just need to wake up to the reality of now. And what is this reality of now that we're so ignorant about? The suffering. Learn to say suffering is like this. If this moment is full of unpleasant sensation, just be present. Be there, be observant. Don't run away, don't blame. Do not stop the suffering. Observe. And once you're able to not interfere with the reality of present moment, the suffering in you will cease. I can't promise about the outside. Probably the suffering will still stay, but the inside of you, you're not going to suffer anymore. What is usually the purpose of Dhamma talk? Bringing peace or saying something pleasant to make people more happy with them? Honestly, out of this talk, I wanted to evoke shame in us. This is not something many of us want to feel or be reminded of. I observe myself. I'm here 1 year, a little more than 1 year. I came to MABA in October last year. And I asked myself, did I do a good job? Am I blameless? I wish I could say so. But instead I can't. But at least I know that I have shame. So I invite us to a self-reflection, not in order to get lost in shame, feeling down, feeling guilty, upset, and eventually getting stuck in depressive state. No. But in order to hit the bottom, we need that, right? To push up again. So what do we do instead? We need to accept the faults, the wrongdoings, mistakes, in order to realize that the sickness is there and we need medicine. What is the medicine? It is Dhamma. Dhamma in what sense? Not only the Dhamma of listening talks, reading books, and sitting on meditation cushion, and even acts of generosity. All of this are important, very important preliminary actions. It is like you're becoming a candidate to become a candidate, not yet fulfilling the duty of Buddha's disciple. Getting rid of views of the attachments. That's where we want to look today. Imagine you like to set up your, I don't know, kitchen utensils in a certain way, and someone comes and mess it all up. Can you just let go of that attachment of it has to be like this? If someone tells you that you're wrong when you wholeheartedly know you're right, can you just let go of the desire to prove yourself? The desire to fight out loud or in your head? For example, you really wanted to go for a walk because you wanted for a long time for that to happen. You were busy, but then someone asked you to do something else. Can you just let go of that want, of that desire? It is so pleasant to hold on to that I. This is what we're so blind of. This I desires, I views, I likes. That is a cause of suffering. We ignorantly misinterpret them as pleasant and suffer even more. If someone points out or disturb those I attachments, we immediately get so hostile. Don't touch it. Can you let your important I go? Who knows it all, who likes the things it likes, who hates the things it hates. Can you let that I die? The meditation, it's like this. Is it some kind of special meditation? When I said that we don't need special conditions for meditation, but all that we need is present moment and whatever conditions there are, is that a kind of special meditation? No, it is mindfulness itself. Mindfulness of what? Of the body, of the feeling, of the mind, of the dhammas. When something undesirable or desirable is in front of me, happening around me, can I, instead of turning this conditioned illusory thing into some kind of important permanent reality and obsessed about it, can I just observe my body? Likable and dislikable, loved and hated things are all the same. In what sense? They are illusory, means they're conditioned, subject to change, an immediate or delayed cause of suffering. The reality of conditioned phenomena is emptiness. Can I just observe my feelings as phenomena too? Not like some kind of plague that must be eradicated immediately. By doing so, I'm turning those conditioned feelings into something so important again, something substantial. No, instead I can just observe them rising and ceasing without making a big deal about it. Without getting attached, I pull myself back into observing. And with years of practice, those feelings are going to have less and less power over me. Can I observe my mind? Oh, right now my mind is full of hate. Next moment, the mind is empty of hate. Can I see both minds as not me, not mine, conditioned phenomena? Next time, the mind is full of desire, attachment, likes. Next moment, it's empty of these. If I see those states of mind as a result of causes and conditions and do not act on them, I am essentially freeing myself. The feeling have less and less power over me without me fighting with them, obsessing about having them, being distressed by them. And slowly, by pulling my attention back from the outside objects that causes those feelings to arise, I keep bringing it back to the object of mindfulness, behind the doors of sense organs. And my mind is getting used to not run far away. And slowly, with practice, attention doesn't want to leave the body. I don't have to force it. I saw this question in Ajahn Sumedho's book. Two people meditating at the same time. One is having a great meditation, full of concentration. Another is having a difficult time that day, can't collect his attention at all. Who is doing a better job? And of course, the answer is not so obvious, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't be a question. The answer is doing a better job is to see those states of mind as conditioned, not self, impermanent, and thus suffering. If you're attached and thinking, I am doing good, my meditation is good, no, it is a cause of suffering, it's ignorance. One day you are concentrated, next time you're not, so what? Can you see through that? See it as a reality of present moment without giving yourself grace. The death is always watching. It stays nearby and is ready to catch us anytime. What are we doing in the face of death? What are we busy with? Are we doing a good job? Mindfulness of death in this way helps us to avoid both extremes, being lazy and forgetful, being too loose, or being too obsessed, too tensed, which may lead to a breakdown. So let us aspire to do better, to learn how to let go of that important me, myself, and I, and be a cause for change to the better around us. Thank you.